Well, 20 years on, it's sad for us to reflect and say there are still enduring inequalities, fault lines, if you like, at the floor of this shared society. It's everybody's responsibility to champion equality and to stand up against discrimination and challenge discriminatory practice. So every year, the almost 4,000 people who come to us are saying that discrimination still happens. Now, we believe that until that discrimination is addressed, there will be the need for an Equality Commission. And that's why we're key, we believe, in building and helping to reinforce the nature of this shared society.
The Equality Commission provides free and confidential advice and guidance for people who believe that they may have been discriminated against on the grounds of disability, sex, religion and politics, age, race and sexual orientation. The first contact that most people will have with the Commission is through our telephone helpline. We will ensure that that service is accessible to everyone. We'll always encourage people to try and resolve the problems that they have informally, and actually in many cases that works very well. Where people don't resolve the problems informally, they may choose to issue legal proceedings, and we can advise them on how to go about this. The Commission can and does provide assistance with a small number of legal cases. The Commission really supports cases to raise awareness of rights and responsibilities in the law, to challenge discriminatory practices, and ultimately to effect change.
There are two main reasons that we continue to work with employers, and they haven't changed. The first one of those reasons is to keep employers on the right side of the law, to make sure that what they do is legal, doesn't leave them exposed to legal challenge and the costs that can accrue as a result of that. The second reason is that there are employers who want to promote best practice. So they want to go beyond the legislation, and they need guidance on how to promote best practice or good practice. We have an employer training program where our staff will provide key information and advice to employers on how to meet the legislative requirements and how to promote good practice. We have an employer inquiry line which receives over 3,000 employer calls a year. We run regional and Northern Ireland wide seminars and workshops to deal with practical aspects of the equality agenda. And my job on a daily basis allows me to engage with employers and trade unions to make things better for those people who are marginalised at work.
Section 75 is an equality law that must be implemented by around 160 public organisations in Northern Ireland, including government and health. The aim of Section 75 is to make a real difference to the lives of people in Northern Ireland through public organisations making fairer and more equal decisions. The way Section 75 is working and being implemented by public authorities does need to be improved, and the Commission is working with public authorities to ensure that that happens. If someone believes that a public organisation hasn't done what they've said in their equality scheme, the Commission does have the power to investigate such complaints. The Disability Duties is another equality law that requires public organisations to take actions to do two things: to promote more positive attitudes towards disabled people, and also to ensure that disabled people participate fully in public life, for example, being board members of public organisations.
Inequality continues to impact on the lives of those working and living in Northern Ireland. Our research has shown where key inequalities still persist and how barriers can still limit the ability of some to participate fully in our society. To tackle those inequalities, we work with key stakeholders and officials to both support and challenge government to better mainstream equality into our laws and public policy. To do this, we publish evidence-based policy recommendations, which can be used by government to change lives for the better. Alongside raising awareness of our recommendations, we also work with key stakeholders, both locally and internationally, including the likes of UNCDA, UNCRPD, to hold government to account and to amplify our calls for change.
The Equality Commission has played a really vital role in Northern Ireland in promoting equality and challenging discrimination since we were established 20 years ago. So the Commission has played a vital role across many many domains and helped individuals and public authorities, employers and others to really secure changes. Well, the challenges are significant at present. Not only are there many enduring and some emerging inequalities which we have to deal with, and some of the enduring ones have proved very difficult to shift, but it's also true, in common with the public sector generally, that the Commission has experienced a decade now of budget cuts, and that's of course had an impact on not only on our staffing levels, which is the major part of our expenditure, but also on our programme expenditure and what we can actively do. So that's a real challenge for the Equality Commission at present. Areas of employment, for example, we want to see improvements in the employment prospects for people with disabilities and for women in particular. We also want to see greater focus spent on welcoming and inclusive workplaces as a priority in employment. We've also identified education as a priority. We really want to see progress being made in increasing the attainment levels of people from all groups, and we want to continue our work to ensure that equality is mainstreamed in public policy and that we play our role as a champion for equality going forwards. Greater equality of opportunity is vital for Northern Ireland, and it's clear that that's what members of the public want. Survey after survey have shown that people in Northern Ireland care about equality. They want equality in Northern Ireland. They want to see equality laws strengthened in Northern Ireland. They understand the need for protection against discrimination and the importance of equality of opportunity to society in Northern Ireland as a whole.